Elon Musk, there we are. Again, he dominates the headlines. He has this enigmatic, or perhaps not so enigmatic, entrepreneur has a remarkable ability to capture the headlines across the globe, often blurring the lines between innovation and controversy. And while he's celebrated for transforming industries like cars and aerospace, his influence increasingly extends into the political realm, a shift both fascinating and fraught. And he seems to cause more trouble than he actually resolves. Politics is about sorting out problems, not creating them, and Elon Musk seems to have misinterpreted that. Recently, his engagement with UK politics and global far-right narratives has raised eyebrows, prompting a closer look at who and what shapes his worldview. His intellectual foundation stems from an insatiable appetite for literature and a childhood fascination with technology. Early inspirations include Isaac Asimov's Foundation series, which seeded his vision for humanity's interplanetary future, and biographies of innovators like Benjamin Franklin, Steve Jobs, alongside works by Richard Feynman, further shaped his approach to problem solving. All that's good. But his political inclinations seem less rooted in traditional philosophical frameworks and more in his interpretation of libertarian ideals. Nothing wrong with that. But the belief in free markets and technological solutions to social challenges, great. The problem is when it goes beyond that. This perspective aligns him with a specific brand of modern technocracy, which he amplifies through his control of Twitter, a platform he acquired and reshaped into an amplifier of his own personal ideology, making him the biggest influencer in the world. And in recent months, he's demonstrated this peculiar fixation on or with. Do you fix on or do you fix with UK politics, particularly around the grooming gang scandals of the 2000s? And posts on his platform have criticised figures like the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, who Musk's accused of complicity in the failure as a former prosecutor, and his comments have escalated to calling for Starmer's imprisonment and even suggesting the King dissolve Parliament, an extraordinary demand reflecting either deep ignorance or deliberate provocation. Certainly a general lack of knowledge about the way the British political system works. And Musk's understanding of these issues appears heavily influenced by accounts like the influencers like Visigrad 24, commentators like Ian Miles Chong and Stephen Thompson. And these sources, often criticised for selective inflammatory reporting, focus on failures within multicultural policies, fueling Musk's narrative of cultural delay and bureaucratic negligence. And his amplification of such accounts has reignited debates around grooming gangs, with critics accusing Musk of oversimplifying complex issues for populist appeal. But this is the problem with the algorithm. Once you start looking at a particular influencer, then you're constantly thrown parallel accounts and parallel stories which complement that particular worldview, and you get the impression that that's all anybody thinks. And it isn't. It isn't. This is the failure of the algorithm. So while Musk's political inventions may seem impulsive, actually what they do is they represent a sort of dog-like devouring of the same biscuit. He's just chomping around the same bone. It's tiresome, really. Observers suggest that there's a cadre of conservative-leaning British expatriates in the US, including figures like Douglas Murray, Neil Gardner, and these shape Musk's perception of the UK. These individuals often paint Britain as a nation gripped by woke authoritarianism and cultural decline, narratives Musk seems eager to amplify. And there's certainly room for that debate, but there's room for so much else as well. And the problem is, once the algorithm gets hold, you don't see anything else. And Musk's affiliation with Donald Trump's administration, notably as the head of a new efficiency department, positions him as a political influencer on a global stage, and his ties to right-wing populist movements in Germany, such as AfD, and his vocal support for controversial figures like Andrew Tate illustrate his willingness to champion polarizing figures and causes, and no harm with that at all. We need people to signal things which are not necessarily favourable. But the problem with determining your worldview simply on an algorithm, which will simply enrich the diet you've already been consuming, that isn't a positive aspect of a world leader. Critics argue that Musk's role as both user and architect of Twitter has left him susceptible to the same algorithmic rabbit holes that radicalize many online. Absolutely. Bruce Daisley, a former Twitter executive, suggests Musk has become the first tech leader to fall down the rabbit hole of radicalization by his own product. And amplifying blue check accounts under Twitter Premium, Musk inadvertently prioritizes voices that echo his own libertarian and anti-establishment worldview. His personal narrative also plays a role. His British grandmother's impoverished upbringing seems to fuel his affinity for narratives of victimization, a theme he often projects onto his criticism of Western government. And Musk's intervention has tangible consequences. His attacks on UK politicians like Jess Phillips have resulted in death threats. When we in Britain are reeling from the deaths of two parliamentarians, Joe Cox and the other name has gone has escaped me. But anyway, it'll turn up at the end of this. And his engagement, Musk's engagement, boosts the party's visibility, showcasing how Musk's influence transcends national borders. AfD is not a highly significant party. This party, associated with anti-Islam and anti-immigration rhetoric, has been met with a backlash from mainstream leaders, and now Musk has bigged it up. Is Musk's political engagement a calculated strategy or mere impulse? His frequent provocations, from calling Britain a tyrannical police state to suggesting that America liberates its people, might aim to drive traffic to Twitter, maintaining its relevance as a platform. Alternatively, they could reflect genuine frustration with governance, albeit expressed through a lens of hyperbole and oversimplification, and a diet of rubbish. Elon Musk is undeniably a disruptor, whether in technology or in politics, and his interventions in UK and global political discourse reveals a figure who is both driven by personal convictions and swayed by curated online systems like his own that are militantly swayed by an algorithm that we cannot comprehend. And while his contributions are valuable when it comes to innovation, celebrated indeed, his foray into politics raises complex questions about the responsibilities of individuals who are influential, who shape public narratives. And as Musk continues to intertwine his technological empire with these ideological crusades, he exemplifies the double-edged sword of modern influence. A visionary capable of inspiring progress, yet equally adept at sowing discord in pursuit of his ideals. The world watches. The world has to watch and marvel at Musk, but worry, marvel and mutter at Musk, as Musk defines what it means to be a 20th century mogul, for better or for worse. Musk's money is dictating not only how we interpret events, but what events we actually read about or learn about, because of the algorithm, because of the way Twitter and YouTube only show you what they think you're interested in. And for Musk, that's some sort of libertarian obsession. And I think it's the job of world leaders and big people to try and improve life rather than destroy it.